and it is Thursday afternoon at 1 p.m. Eastern, which means it is time for a YouTube live. I almost said Facebook. That's not even a thing anymore, but you know, it's time for a live somewhere. Let's do it here. All right, so my card today features the gorgeous new Beautiful Thistle stamp set and the matching and named, which is wonderful. Hey, Angie. Die set, also called Beautiful Thistle. And I'm going to confess, I borrowed some design elements from the catalog samples because, to be quite honest, I had no idea how to color a thistle. I just didn't. I mean, I could have Googled it, but it was so much easier to just go with a sample idea. Hey, Marva, appreciate you coming. So anyway, this is the Beautiful Thistle. You can see I've got some of the framed florets working here too. I cut this die and this middle frame here, and some very pretty fancy flora, and some Vellum Basics specialty paper. All right, so let's get started. All of this will be on my blog tomorrow. Hey, Faith. Hi, Nora. Hi, Linda. Hello, Rosie. And Vicky, appreciate you guys all coming. Let me set this aside. You'll be glad to know there's a lot of coloring on this card. You'll be glad to know that I've already done some coloring, so that you won't have to watch me color the same image 77.8 times. All right. So this is the piece that I selected for this particular card. Actually, it's this one. It's got Balmy Blue and some Pool Party and a little bit of Fresh Freesia, some Orchid Oasis. So I'm going to use it, and I'm going to mat it on a piece of Orchid Oasis. Oh, Orchid Oasis. Sure. Hey, guys. Appreciate y'all coming. Daryl, fun that you were able to be here for your lunch period. That's a good way to do lunch. Although I do hope you're also eating. I hope it's like a lunch and learn. Is that what it is? It's a lunch and learn? All righty. So there we go. We'll just put that like so. And then I have a piece of the Basics Vellum. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's actually Vellum Basics, not Basics Vellum. I had that backwards. You get 3 designs. Let me see if I can make this so you can tell what those 3 designs are. Here, I'll put it on this, the Orchid Oasis. You can see you get a striped piece. You get a piece with pretty leaves all over it. And then you get some dots. And you get 2 sheets of each of those designs in a pack. All right, and it's kind of fun. Now, like any vellum, you do want to try to hide your adhesive, right? I mean, I love getting notified. It happens to be on my phone, so when I get the note, I clicked right up. Oh, thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that so much. Linda, you're going to have fun with this vellum, I can assure you. Hey, Jean, thank you. So I know that because of my design, that the center of the vellum is pretty well covered up. So I'm just going to run a strip of Stampin' Seal right down the center. As I go along, when I find places that it extends, I'll put a glue dot. So you can see that doesn't pick up there. It also won't pick up under that dragonfly, because once I located the dragonfly, I was able to slide a glue dot under there. All right, so that's just my little how to deal with vellum. So you can see just one strip down the center. And it's pretty hidden. I mean, let's be honest here. You can see it though. Good thing we're going to cover it up. So I did a little die cutting ahead of time. Aren't you so glad? And I cut the large, sorry, just lost my brain, framed florets out of Balmy Blue. And I'm just going to use a few dabs of liquid glue there. Thanks, Diana. I try to make most of my cards with just one set, but sometimes, you know, you got to get in and get those other things that you have. Otherwise, what's the point in having them? So I'm just putting some little dabs of liquid glue along these larger sections, like so. You really don't need a lot. Remember the rule about liquid glue. The less, the merrier. That's a thing. It's a thing. Okay. And then I'm going to kind of center it top and bottom, and it's going to hang off the edge just a little bit on the sides. So I want to make the hang off about the same on both sides. You know, that technical hang off thing. Now we'll just let that set for a second while we put a few dimensional pieces on the, not black. Let's not use black. That would be, no. Hey, Nioka, appreciate you coming. I did want to let you guys know, I do, unless you didn't, in case you didn't see it on my Facebook, I do have one single share left if anybody needs it. Thought they were both gone, but turns out they weren't. Now, if you are a fan of the foam adhesive sheets and you remember to do it, you could certainly cut this frame out of a piece of foam adhesive sheet, and it would stop you having to do this. Me, I'm just kind of a fan of dimensionals. I cannot help it. I just love it because there's nothing I like more than a little persnickety, tedious dimensional sticking. Who doesn't love all that? All right, I'm going to do a few extras just because I can. Oh, thank you, Donna. Vacationing in Williams, Arizona. In your fifth wheel. Oh, fun. I hope you're staying warm. I hope you've got a 4-season fifth wheel and that your heat is working because I'm thinking it's probably chilly there. All right, and we'll take off these dimensional covers. So have you guys ever heard of sourdough chocolate chip cookies? I hadn't either, but I found a great recipe, and it's kind of nice because it uses my discard. And I'll tell you a little secret, ladies and gents. They are the best cookies ever. I'm just throwing that out there. They are the best cookies ever. Alberta, foggy. Okay, so the trick here is to kind of try to center this on that frame. And it looks about right. It could probably go over to the left just a little bit. You know, I tell my husband to not act like he's making the space shuttle, and I should probably take my own advice occasionally. It's a card. There we go. There we go. There. Ooh, pretty. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, now let's set this aside. So on a piece of basic white, I stamped the large thistle, and then I stamped 2 small thistles in Night of Navy ink. And I've already colored these. I'm going to show you how we colored them, how I colored them. And we're using watercolor pencils from the assortment 2. This one is great. This was the second one that came out, which is, I guess, probably why they called it assortment 2. But you get Cherry Cobbler, Flirty Flamingo, Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, Granny Apple Green, Garden Green, Coastal Cabana, Balmy Blue, Night of Navy, and Gorgeous Grape. And we're using Coastal, Balmy, and Night of Navy on this card. And then the 4th color of the card is, of course, Orchid Oasis. So now I'm going to take my Night of Navy pencil, and all I'm really doing is just coloring where these shade marks are that are part of the stamp set. Okay, so it colored those for me, and I'm just coloring over those very, very deliberately and neatly. Perhaps you can see that. So I'm really just adding some darkness and some depth. This is such a pretty stamp set. I love the thistles. I really do. I'm sorry. I managed to get my mouth watering talking about about cookies. So I'm not doing good here. All right. So this is the Night of Navy pencil, and I'm just adding some darker color. Aren't you glad I did the other ones for us already, so we didn't have to sit here and watch? Because don't you hear the Jeopardy music? Do 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 do. Okay, now then I'm going to take and do a little bit in the top knot here. I don't know what that's called exactly, but I'm kind of staying towards the center-ish of it. And the nice thing is you can always go back and add more. Oh, Pantry Mama, see, she is the best. And that is where those cookies come from. So if you look up the recipe, I think she even says that it's a great recipe to use as you're using up all your discard, as you're building your sourdough. Okay, now taking Balmy Blue, I'm going back to the tops of whatever these little doohickeys are called. I don't know. So, Jean, I was going to tell you when you said sourdough that you were starting one. I recently took her suggestion and started dehydrating some starter. So I have now dehydrated starter in my cupboard in case I, kill one, because I did do that. That's why I'm on the one that I'm on, which I actually bought from King Arthur Flour. So now I have a whole jar of dehydrated, and she has all the directions on her website about how to bring it back to life should I kill this one. All right, so I'm just adding this balmy blue to all of the tendrils of the leaves, like so. You'll be glad to know that the rest of the coloring I have to do for this card is on 2 more little ones, so it won't take me nearly as long. But the balmy blue and the night of navy really works nicely together, and it really looks, I'm pretty certain, I mean, I don't know for sure, but I feel pretty certain that there are no actual blue leaves on thistles or stems, but it works for the card, and so there you go. Okay, now here's the fun part. I'm going to do a little more balmy blue first. Wait, I've realized I didn't have any balmy blue up here. Got to have the balmy blue. Got to have the balmy blue. Otherwise, you have white. Okay, so we got some balmy blue. Okay, now here's the fun part, the part that I thought was just so cool. I pulled out the Coastal Cabana pencil, and I put it near the bottom, just like that. So you can see I'm just pulling up right from where those little doohickey things go into the top knot thing. And I'm just going part way. It's not going all the way up. And you can add as little or as much as you like. All right, and I'm just leaving it in the top knot. I'm not putting it in the doohickeys, just the top knot. And you can see that I really basically colored the small ones exactly the same. Night of Navy, balmy blue, and then a little bit of the Coastal Cabana. And there you go. We're done with that. Okay, so all right. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to lay these out like we want them, so that we can make sure that we're getting them the way we want them. Like so, I think. Okay, good. And then I'm going to put dimensionals on the places that are inside the frame. Makes sense? Because the frame is popped up and we want the other flowers to be popped up as well. Because there's no such thing as too much poppage. But you really don't want the dimensionals on the frame part, because then you've got like squared poppage, and that's not good. All right, so this comes down. We're going to go right to there with it. And you can just leave the tops on and then double check that you haven't put something somewhere that you don't want it. And I didn't, so we're good. Take off these dimensional covers. Dimensionals are pretty stout, so it's not like you really have to cover it completely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my liquid glue. Purple thistle, see? Oh, yes, those dark ones, the ones that'll make you say bad words. That's why it's actually kind of interesting that they're so pretty when they hurt so bad, right? So all I did was just put a little liquid glue there where it's going to come across that frame, just to give it a little help. I guess we could do the same down at the bottom. Just, just to help it a little bit. All right, and then we'll just put that on like so. And we're going to do the same here. I'm just going to put a dimensional right in the center of that flower. And a little bit of liquid glue down at the bottom of the stem. Like so. And now this one wants a dimensional right about there, right? So let's try that. Let's go crazy there. I'm going to just put it right in the middle. This is really, I mean, if you weren't a fan of cutting your dimensionals in half after making this card, you could be. And yes, of course, once again, if you wanted to do this with the foam sheets, you certainly could. All right, and we're going to put that right there like so. Okay, so that's all we're going to do right there. Let me set that aside. Actually, I'm going to pick this up. I want it moved over just a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. Come on. Come on, little dimensional. Be a good dimensional. There you go. Thank you. It does help to talk to your dimensionals. You might think it doesn't, but it does. Totally does. Because otherwise, if I was doing it and it didn't help, wouldn't that be weird? That would just be weird, right? You'd be like, Mary, that doesn't help. But I can tell you it helps. So put a little glue right there just to help it sit for a second. Stay right there. All right, now, while that glue sets up, I'm going to get my little baby blue, little baby boho. That's what I'm calling him, little baby boho, out. And we're going to stamp a sentiment. I did that way too early. Way too early. I was excited. Sorry. On a piece of basic white, I am going to stamp Thinking of You in Orchid Oasis. Aw, that is very cool. Sourdough bread is like the bestest, although I'm sorry your husband has wings. I'm sure he is still with you. Okay, I'm just going to stamp it. Now, I learned a little lesson, okay? Let me do this on this side. Learned a little lesson. I thought, well, I'm just going to hold it down and make sure it gets a nice, good image. And I didn't love it. I mean, that one's not too bad. Of course, if I hadn't said that, it would turn out, perfectly like that. When I did it the first time, it was kind of real thick. So don't set it down forever. Just down and up. Yes, I know it looked exactly the same. You don't even need to tell me. Okay, let's go. Mary, Diana, the way I got over being too nervous to do these videos was that I didn't show my face. As soon as I show my face, I get goofy. I mean, like, okay, yeah, I know. You're all going, Mary, break it to you, kid. You're goofy anyway. But no, I just get very tongue-tied, and I don't like it. So, by not having my face on, I am able to deal with that. Okay, so I have my little mini baby boho here. And I'm going to use, where are you? Oh, here you are. A stitched rectangle, my favoriteest sentiment rectangle. It's this littlest one. And we're going to put this on. And since we don't have magnet plates anymore, I'm going to put it in place and use, oh, that is a massive, massive bummer. Oh, yes, it is the fancy Flora DSP, correct. Sorry about that. I thought I said it, but you might have missed it, or I might have just thought I said it. So a crafter's favorite and bestest friend is sticky notes. So once you get your die in place, just go ahead and give it a little sticky dick, a little sticky nicky wicky with your doohickey. And then you can make sure that you've got that lined up, Mary. Well, come on now. Let me make sure I got that the right way. Yes, I do. Okay. There we go. Well, have you ever noticed, there it is. You got to get it. You actually do have to put it in the machine, Mary. There we go. Exactly, Donna. And I barely even have to brush my hair. There we go. Okay, so let me put this away before I lose it. Back on my magnet. Get rid of these. Get rid of this. And pull back our card base. Card front. Okay, so this little guy is going to go right here. And what I'm going to do, this is a dimensional level. This is a dimensional level. So I'm going to put one dimensional out here on the outside of the sentiment. Okay. Yeah. It can be a little persnickety, but once you get it in, it works awesome. And you can stagger the plates. I thought I had it enough, but apparently, you know, I didn't. Okay. And then we'll just use a little liquid glue right about here. And it really helps if you have your card front straight when you're trying to put it on straight. There we go. Now, thanks, Nyoka. The blues together are really making me quite happy. Now, I'm going to bring some silver in, and we're going to put some dragonflies, and I'm going to put them on the thistle. Dragonflies love thistles, I've been told. I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing. But, I mean, they're all on here, so apparently they do. And we're going to put one right about there, too. Yep, I like it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. So when you use these mini glue dots that are pretty decent size, it helps if you scrunch them up like that for these little dragonfly doohickeys, okay? Because otherwise you'll have them sticking out all over the place. There we go. Now, remember I told you I was going to add a glue dot? So all I'm doing here is I'm just going to pick up this corner and slide a glue dot right under the dragonfly. So you still can't see him. Let's go ahead and, while I'm in sticky down mode, we'll do the same over here where my sentiment is. Like so. Okay. Now we're going to do another scrunchy onesie. Scrunchy one. Oop. We'll put him right about there. Right about there. You know, my Twizzlers sometimes don't listen to me either. It's kind of a burden, really. I want my tools to listen to me, which is weird because they're not alive. And finally, this little guy right there. There we go. Now, when I was doing that, come on now. There we go. I could feel that I could put a Stampin' Dimensional under there, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it right like so. Just slide it under there. That way you have a little more support. And that is our card front. Okay, so for the inside, the interior, those squeezers are the bestest tool ever. I truly don't even think I could craft anymore without them. They're the best. All right, I'm going to take this small one. Well, let's do the sentiment first, because about the time I stamp those two small ones and then color them, I will bork up the sentiment and be like, dang it, Jim. Dang it, Jim. Okay, we're going to use There's Something Beautiful in Every Day and Orchid Oasis, and I'm going to make just a check. So I'm looking at the grid lines on my grid paper, and I'm lining up this bottom. The bottom in Every Day is straight. So I'm kind of just eyeballing the grid lines and trying to put it on straight. Now, when I pick it up, if it's actually straight on the grid lines, then I know that my sticker is on correctly and that the engraving of the rubber is right. And so I can just be straight. It's pretty darn close. There's a tiny rise at the end, but it's so imperceptible. I'm not going to do a whole lot of correcting because also my eye could have been weird. So I'm just going to go for as straight as I can get. There we go. Yeah, I will take that. Okay, so that was Orchid Oasis. I do have two squeezers. Always have a backup. Actually, I have a third, but it's just, I don't know where exactly it is. Y'all. So if you don't know, I am not quite blind as a bat, but I don't drive without glasses. I don't like to clean the stalls without glasses. I don't like to walk around at night without glasses just because it really helps me. Yesterday, at some point in the day, I lost my glasses. And we looked everywhere. We picked up everything on my caution of a craft table. I mean, everywhere. Nothing. And so this morning when I got up, I cleaned the stalls without glasses. God knows what they look like. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to buy new glasses. And then I was mailing one of my last shares, and I opened the drawer that has my flat rate mailers in it. What should be right there? My glasses. Apparently they had fallen out when I packed a pack yesterday. And yeah, last place I would have looked. All right, so all I did there was just stamp 2 of those in Night of Navy. Thanks, guys. And then we're going to do some coloring, and I'm going to show you accelerated coloring. Now, if I was doing a short, I'd put this on, you know, do a whole card in 60 seconds speed, but I can't. So here's what we're going to do with these small ones. We're going to be much more free with the Night of Navy. I'm not going to get nearly as head up about where it all is. The shading is so dense because of the smallness of the image that you can kind of get away with it. So I'm just going to do some Night of Navy along the shading that I can see easy without getting too head up about it. And then we'll add some balmy blue and a little bit of that Coastal Cabana. I really like how those colors change the appearance of this. I don't think I would like it so much in one solid color, but I might have to try it just to see once. Just to see once. Because seeing once is believing twice. No, that's not a thing. I think I might have mixed my little witticisms there. I don't know. Okay, so now we'll take balmy blue and just add some balmy blue around in there, in the doohickey area. You know, I made this card last night. I was on my teammate Carol Buckaloo's Craft and Chat, which she does the second Wednesday of each month now at 7 o'clock, and it was a lot of fun. There were 4 of us on there, and we just talked and crafted, kind of like a Zoom the Craft Room. So if you are interested in that, second Wednesday of the night, Inky Bee Stampers is the place to go, and you can get on her list. She just sends you a Zoom link, and then we join up and talk and have a nice time. All right, one more. Hang with me, people. Hang with me. I know, I'm getting a little bit carried away on the time. Here we go. I love that all 3 of these colors were in the one watercolor pencils assortment. So if you only want to get one, you can get one, which is really the 2. Gosh, that was confusing. All right, so balmy blue is done. Now I'm going to come back with my Coastal Cabana. There she is now. Yay, Zoom the Craft Room, Sharon. All right, so I'm just taking that Coastal Cabana and I'm really kind of concentrating on the center there. You can kind of see how it looks like little hairs coming out of a cowlick or something. So that's where I've decided the center of the flower is, and that's where I'm concentrating. And I am kind of going out to further that idea that they're growing out from the center there, like so. There. And that's it. That's all we're going to do with it. And then we'll put this on its Orchid Oasis mat. And into our balmy blue card base. Finish up the envelope. And we'll be done. Done ske. All right, here we go. Dude, I love these blues together. My goodness. I mean, to me, Orchid Oasis is a little purpley, and I love it. It's one of my favorite colors. I really, really hope it becomes a forever color. Now we'll pop our card front on with some dimensionales. Let me grab another strip of cut ones. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Okay. There we go. We're fixing to get, I guess we're going to get some storms. I don't know. We got a couple hours before they get here. And I hate to knock on melamine. They don't look too deadly. So hopefully it'll just, what would be awesome is if it didn't even rain, because we really don't need any more rain right now. We're good with rain. We're good. All of you in California, don't send me flames. I know I have nothing to talk about at all in the rain department. I hope you guys are staying safe, and I hope you all have power. Faith, I saw you on here, so I'm assuming that means you have power. All right, there we go. Now, for my envelope, I know you're glad, I already stamped and colored the small thistles. So all we're going to do is put some of that fancy floral on the envelope flap. What was that noise? Did y'all hear that, or was it in my brain? Did my brain just make a noise? Okay. Here we go. This paper's so pretty. Now let me show you something, guys. This is a 6x6 pack of paper, right? 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 for the card front. And this is what's left over. You'll see it's a little bit shy of the 2 1/4 or so that you need. Not to worry. Just use it. You can get this whole card out of one 6x6 sheet. We're going to fussy cut the edges where we can see it from the back, like usual. Just remember, put your paper up against the fulcrum of the scissors and turn the paper with your holding hand, not the scissors. Don't try to go like that. It doesn't work. I mean, it works, but it's not good. Then turn it over, and you can see that little strip. You can just make a quick sliver, and it looks pretty darn good, and it's got plenty of stickum left, so you're good to go. So that is the beautiful Thistle, y'all, in blues: Night of Navy, Orchid Oasis, Balmy Blue, and Coastal Cabana. I hope you like it. I hope you'll get it. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. Hopefully, I will also see you on Saturday. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a good one. Ta.